we are going to discuss open chain structures of monosaccharides. In fact, all monosaccharides we are going to discuss. In first video, we are going to discuss the structures of D-aldoses. D-aldoses means what? D, you know very well, if you have seen my previous video, then the meaning of D is the configuration of the chiral carbon which is away from the carbonyl group. If that configuration having OH group towards right hand side, then it is D. And if the OH group is towards left hand side, then that will be L. What is the meaning of aldo? Aldo means aldehydic group. So the D-aldoses means the chiral carbon which is away from the carbonyl group having such configuration where OH group is towards right hand side. Now we will start with triose. Triose means having 3 carbons. All structures are drawn in Fischer projection formula. Now see, this is a triose, means having 3 carbons. So the first and the aldehydic group. So you can say the first category is aldotriose, means aldehydic group with 3 carbons. So you have to remember the structure of only D-glyceraldehde. If you know the structure of D-glyceraldehde, you can draw the structures of all members of this family. See how. Now, if you know the structure of D-glyceraldehde having 3 carbon, one is aldehydic group and another is CH2OH. In fact, this CHO and CH2OH group, these two are all, these two groups are present in all monosaccharides. So only hydroxyl group lying in between CHO and CH2OH are going to change. So you can see here CHO and CH2OH is common for all. So here also common for D-glyceraldehde, and you have to add 1 carbon by just putting one horizontal line across this vertical line where the OH group is toward right hand side. So this is D-glyceraldehde. And if you consider one mirror here in between these or after this structure, you will get its enantiomer. So L-glyceraldehde. Similarly, if you know D monosaccharides, you can easily draw the structure of L monosaccharide. So you need not to remember this. This is the mirror image. L means the mirror image of first one. So I hope you you understood what I am saying here. So if you know the structure of D-glyceraldehde, you are going to draw the structures of all monosaccharides. Now see what to do. After aldotetrose, 1 carbon is added. That becomes now aldotetrose. Aldehydic group is there and 4 carbons. So 3 carbons are already there in the glyceraldehde. You have to add 1 carbon. In fact, that carbon is always CHOH. So every time you are going to add this moiety CHOH, or in Fischer projection formula this middle carbon is not written, you are going to add CHOH. So you have to add every time CHOH. Now in aldotetrose you have to add this line CHOH, and see here that I have shown that you have by using a red light, by using a red ink, and you have to add this portion, you have to add this moiety just below aldehydic group. The remaining structure, the remaining aldehydic group of previous one. That means you have to, if you want to draw aldotetrose, you have to draw that line in between this and first carbon. So the remaining structure, this remaining structure will remain as it is. You have to add just 1 CHOH here, which I have added by using a red ink. Now see, while adding this, you have to draw every time 2 structures. In one structure, OH is toward right hand side. In another structure, you have to just exchange. where the OH is toward left hand side. So in this way, from one glyceraldehyde you can draw two structures. So here one is called erythrose and another is called triose. You can see the position of OH. So in erythrose all OH are toward the same side, means right hand side, and in triose just first OH is toward this side, left hand side, and this is D because you can see this chiral carbon which is away from the, in fact there are two chiral carbon, this is one and this is second. So the second is away from the carbonyl group. You have to just watch the configuration of this for this chiral carbon where the OH group is toward right hand side. Because of this D later is written there, and here also this is D because you can see the configuration. Now I want to add one more information regarding the structures, that when you draw this structure you have to draw actually 2 to the power n stereoisomers. 2 to the power n stereoisomers, where n is what? Chiral carbons. So the chiral carbons. So if you can see here only one chiral carbon, so this is 2 to the power 1. 2 to the power means 1 means 2. So because of this there are two stereoisomers. Because of this there are two stereoisomers. Now if I move towards aldotetrose, you find out how many chiral carbons? 1 and 2. 1 and 2. So n value is 2. So if I put there that value, that will be 2 into 2. 2 into 2 means 2 2s are 4. So we get actually 4 stereoisomers, but we have drawn here 2 stereoisomers. And what about remaining 2? You can draw remaining 2 by putting mirror here, and you can draw the mirror image of this one. If you draw mirror image of this one, you can see the configuration will be changed. That will be L-erythrose. I'm not going to draw that structure. You draw, you practice on paper. So that will be L-erythrose, means enantiomer of this, and this will be L-triose. So in this way you can draw 4 stereoisomers for this aldotetrose, and that formula you should know, 2 to the power n. So this is how to draw remaining 2 stereoisomers. I hope you understood. Now I move toward the aldopentose. Aldopentose means having 5 carbons. So in the previous structure there are 4 carbons. So we have to add 1 extra carbon in the form of CHOH, and that line CHON is OH is added just below carbonyl group, just below aldehydic group. And now see, for 2D structures you can have two structures. So you can see here, for 1 we get 2 and for 2 we'll get 4. So just like that. How to draw? Now the remaining structure will be as it is. That means erythro will be as it is. So this portion is common, as I mentioned, in all structures, CHO and CH2OH. So it is having 3 OH group. So you can draw 3 OH group including this last one. So in fact this is common for all. This is common for all. You can see there, this is common for all. And if this is common for all, means here if you are drawing these 2 structures from this one, so this portion is common for both. So this portion is common for both, and you have to just add 1 CHOH. In first case OH will be toward right hand side, and in second case OH will be toward left hand side. So in this way you will get 2 structures. Now you can see here from this structure D-triose. So this portion will be common for all. Which portion? These 3. So this portion is common for both. This portion is common for both, which is coming from this previous structure. And before this, in between CHO and this portion you have to add CHOH. In first case CHOH, OH will be toward right hand side. In second case OH will be toward left hand side. So in this way you can draw 4 structures from 2 structures for aldopentose. Now you find out how many chiral carbons there. 1, 2, 3. 3 chiral carbons. So 2 to the power 2 to the power n. So 2 to the power 3 means 2, 2 and 2. So 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8. So we need 8 stereoisomers. And as I mentioned earlier, if you know 4 stereoisomers, you can draw its enantiomer by putting mirror and drawing mirror image of this one. If you draw mirror image of this one, that will be L. So that will be D-ribose and this will be L-ribose. D-arabinose, L-arabinose. D-xylose and L-xylose. D-lixose and L-lixose. Just like that. Now, for aldopentose, how to remember their names? So that trick may be suitable for you or may not be. So you can prepare your own trick. So to remember these names in this order, you can write here Re-ara xyli. Re-ara xyli. If you remember these structures, this trick, Re-ara xyli. So Re-ara xyli means what? Ribose for these two letters. Ara means arabulose, xy means xylose, and li means lixose. So in this way you can remember 4 names and in fact 4 aldopentose. Now one more thing you must remember, that what is the position of OH? Is it towards right hand side or left hand side? I am talking about all OH groups. So if all OH groups are towards right hand side, I would say it is 0. Means no hydroxyl group is toward left hand side. If first hydroxyl group is toward left hand side, I would say this is first. Now if second hydroxyl group, you can see here, is toward left hand side, you can say this is 2. And if first and second are toward left hand side, you can say 1 2. So along with Re-ara xyli, you have to remember these letters, these numbers 0, 1, 2 and 1 2. So 0, 1, 2 and 1 2. That means if you remember Re-ara xyli and this number, you can draw their structures without drawing all structures or without drawing previous one. Or if the structure is given, you can easily provide their names. For example, 0 means what? For ribose, all hydroxyl groups are toward right hand side. 1 means what? The hydroxyl group, first hydroxyl group is toward left hand side. That means for arabinose, I underline this, for arabinose, the first hydroxyl group is toward left hand side. Now for xylose, second hydroxyl group toward left hand side, and all remaining hydroxyl groups toward right hand side. And for lixose 1 2, lixose 1 2 means first and second hydroxyl group are toward left hand side. So in this way you can remember by all the names, or you can, if the structure is given, you can easily provide names to that structure by knowing this Re-ara xyli and 0 1 2 1 2, 0 1 2 and 1 2. From this number you will come to know that the hydroxyl group is toward right hand side or left hand side. That is the trick. But as I mentioned earlier, this trick may not be suitable for everyone. So you can prepare your own trick to remember their names and their structures. Now we'll see aldohexose. Let's see how to draw the structures of aldohexoses. Means having aldehydic group and total 6 carbons. So to draw the structures, we must know the structures of previous aldopentoses. And from each aldopentose, you have to draw 2 aldohexose by just adding one CHOH line just below formyl group, just below aldehydic group, and the remaining structure you have to keep as it is. So you can see here for ribose, you can see there are 5 carbons, but middle 3 hydroxyl group are toward right hand side. Its number is 0, we know that. So you can see here in this structure, these all three are, from this to this structure is same in both stereoisomers. In both isomers, the structures are same. So you can see here, only change is you have to add OH. So OH toward the right hand side in first case and OH toward left hand side in second case. So you will get two isomers. One is called D-aldose and another is called D-aldose. For aldohexoses, you have to make the pair of two, aldose and aldose. I don't think there is any trick. If you know any trick, you can share with me. Now for arabinose, if you know the structure of arabinose, you know one means one hydroxyl group toward the left hand side. So you keep this structure, you draw first CHO and CH2OH and keep little distance in between first hydroxyl group and CHO and draw remaining structure as it is. You can see here, this structure is same here. That means this part is same. You can see this part is same and just you have to add this CHOH portion which I have shown by using a red ink. So in one case OH toward the right hand side, in another case OH toward the left hand side. So you will get two more structures. First is arabinose. From arabinose we get D-glucose and D-mannose. So you have to remember this pair, D-glucose and D-mannose. Now from xylose, you know xylose. Xylose means what? Two. Second hydroxyl group toward the left hand side. So this portion you have to keep as it is. You can see here and just add one HOH portion in between CHO and the remaining portion and keep one in one structure OH toward the right hand side, in another structure OH toward the left hand side. So again you will get two structures. One is called D-glucose and another is called D-iodose. D-iodose. So first is called D-glucose and another is called D-iodose. Similarly, by keeping this structure same in both structures and just adding one HOH, in one OH toward the right hand side, in another OH toward the left hand side, you will get two more structure from lixose, that is called galactose. First one is galactose and another is talose. So for aldohexoses, you have to just make the pair of two, allose and aldotrose. You remember always, glucose and mannose, glucose and iodose, galactose and talose. Now these are the pairs. How to remember? You just prepare your own trick, but you remember these pairs. For allose, aldotrose, glucose, mannose, glucose and iodose, galactose and talose. Now as I mentioned earlier, you just remember their position of hydroxyl group. Here for this allose, this is 0. For aldotrose, this is 1. For glucose, this is 2. You have to remember number 2. For mannose, this is 1 and 2. For glucose, this is 1. This is 3. And for iodose, this is 1 and 3. For galactose, this is 2 and 3. And for talose, this is 1, 2 and 3. So you remember, from these numbers, you will come to know the position of hydroxyl group. How many hydroxyl group or which hydroxyl group is toward left hand side. 0 means no hydroxyl group toward left hand side. 1 means first hydroxyl group toward left hand side. 2 means second hydroxyl group toward left hand side. 1-1, 2 means first and second hydroxyl group toward left hand side. 3 means third hydroxyl group left hand side. 1 and 3 means first and third hydroxyl group toward left hand side. 2 and 3 means second and third hydroxyl group toward left hand side. 1, 2, 3 means first 3 hydroxyl group toward left hand side. So these are the number which you should remember, and remember their names in a pair. So you can easily draw the structures of aldohexoses. One more point which I want to add here by using 2 to the power n formula. So how many chiral carbons there? 1, 2, 3 and 4 chiral carbons. So 2 to the power 4. So 2 to the power 4 means 2, 2 and 2, that comes 60. But you can see here you have drawn just 8 structures. Remaining 8 are actually the mirror images of each and every structure. So you just consider one mirror and draw its mirror image. That will be L. So if it is D-aldose, its mirror image will be L-aldose. If it is D-aldose, mirror image will be L-aldose. Similarly, D-glucose and L-glucose, D-mannose and L-mannose, D-glucose and L-glucose, D-iodose and L-iodose, D-galactose and L-galactose, D-talose and L-talose. So in this way you can remember their structures of D-aldoses family. So Aldotriose, Aldotetrose, Aldopentose and Aldohexoses. So these are the D-aldoses monosaccharides. These are the monosaccharides which you should remember. You must able to draw their structures, and if structure is given, you must able to propose the name, correct name to the structures. Thank you.